Hi everybody, Giselle Grenier here from artplace.ca. In today's video lesson, I'm going to be creating a mixed media piece with Happy Mail. And I got all this good stuff from Annie, and there's some stuff missing because I created an ATC, which I can't show on video so it's a surprise. But this is what she sent me. How cute is this? Adorable. And the swap was basically Happy Mail. So what it is that she sent me this and all this stuff, and then the follow-up to the swap is now I have to create something as an ATC and send that back to her, and she's getting a whole bunch of other Happy Mail. But with the stuff left over, I want to create a mixed media piece. So I love the stuff that she sent, but I love these crazy birds. Oh my god, love these crazy birds. Oh my, you know what? This is probably the best thing ever I've seen from the Tim Holtz line. I love it. So I'm gonna put this stuff away. Hopefully she's not gonna see what I've used. Put that stuff aside. I pulled out these pieces. So I want to basically just use this. And I tell you, the stuff that she sent was pretty challenging to put together. All right, so I've got that, and I've got a 4x4 back stapled canvas. I have a whole bunch of these that are already primed. Back when about 5 years ago, I was doing a lot of watch the artist demonstrations, and I basically, once they're done, and if I didn't like the piece or it was a style I was trying out, I just paint the canvas and just start again. So that's what this is. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to gesso the piece. So I'm going to gesso it, then I'm going to talk to you about the other supplies that I have. So I'm using the DecoArt Media white gesso, number 8 bristle brush. Now this gesso here, this one here, I thinned down with a little bit of distilled water. And the reason why I'm priming it, even though this is acrylics, this has been in storage for quite a while. So even though I did wipe it down and stuff like that, you know, I don't know if there's kitty cat paw prints on it. Either way, I want to add some additional texture. Plus, this is going to be a sky color, and because the blues are transparent, I don't really want any of this brown showing through. But I can leave it quite rough. I don't know why I do that. I always put the gesso or paint on the left side, which means I have to get my arm over, and then I'm in your way. I don't know why. Should have a buzzer every time I do that to buzz me. So I'm going to work pretty fast on this. What I'm going to start doing with a lot of my videos is that although my videos are for beginners and intermediates, I also have a blog which has even more detail. So what I'm going to do is in the descriptions in the videos, just, you know, say, you know, for beginners to go to the blog, because the blog has a lot more stuff than what's covered in the video. All right, so what I want to do, okay, I have to plan this. Hang on a second. Here, I want to make sure there's more texture right here. Now I'm just going to feather that out. Make sure I've got some texture in there. Okay, put that aside. I'm going to put that aside. Oh, water. I didn't put water. I almost put it into my sparkling water. Okay, well, I'll make this quick. Put that aside to dry. All right, so we already saw that I use a DecoArt Media white gesso. And there's going to be a downloadable or a printable supply list for this as well. So what I've got, I'm experimenting with a bunch of stuff. DecoArt Media Fluid Acrylics, because I want the colors to be quite transparent. Phthalo Green Blue, Phthalo Blue, Ultramarine Blue, Quinacridone Violet, Napthol Red Light, Diarylide Yellow, Titanium White. You guys should know by now my limited palette, but this is the extended one because I've got a few extra colors in there, but still a limited palette. Crackle Glaze, and the matte medium. So what I want to do is I'm going to be trying this heavy gel medium gloss. This is from the new Americana premium line. I'm going to try the heavy gel medium. I would like to use this. I'm finding that the squeeze tube is a little, I have arthritis, osteoarthritis, and I'm having a lot of trouble holding like squeezing stuff. So I'm glad that they came out with this, because what I want to do is I want to do a bunch of scribbles. What I'm going to do instead is use this really cute little stencil and this with a palette knife. We do what we can, but if you've got the liquid glass, that'll work. And then I'm going to use the high gloss to varnish the Crazy Bird. I was looking for my triple thick, but it's disappeared. So I have a funny feeling somebody swiped it. Okay. All right. So while that's drying, brushes. So you saw that I used a soft grip number 8 Bristle Bright, and I've got a 1 inch and a 1/2 inch glaze, and I've got a number, what? Size doesn't really matter. Number 8 and number 2 shader. These are the Aquilon with the acrylic handles. You can leave these in water a little bit longer. They won't crack the handle, but don't leave it in water more than 5 minutes or so. Loopy stencil, and I've got a doily. And this really can do anything you want. These beautiful flowers. These little paper flowers look like they're coated with some type of varnish, or maybe some type of varnish or something. That looks like a little flower, this little cutout with paper, and this cute butterfly. So I'm just going to show you how I'm going to dry fit this. Not quite dry yet. My idea for this is going to be something like this, hoping that it works. I'm not going to be sure till I'm not going to be sure until I actually put it together. Then this one here, I'm going to crumple up a little bit and make it 3D. And I'm going to paint that one. And what I want to call this, when I was doing some dry fitting, is Crazy Bird meets Glammed Up Butterfly, something like that. So that's what I'm planning on doing. Okay, and all this, and other than the canvas and the paint, it's all from Annie. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some paint out, and we'll paint the sky. I'm going to get my 1 inch brush, and I put it into a little bit of water, and I'm just going to apply a very washy coat of water throughout the whole canvas. I want to show you. I'm going to try to make this quite quick, but when you're painting, you can't have that much water. It'll just, you won't get a nice blend. So if that happens, you can take a paper towel and just lightly pad. Don't rub, but lightly pad. And what this also does, it creates a nice texture. And that's why I like using the Viva paper towels. Okay. Now I'll blot my brush because there's too much water in there. So that's just to show you why, I like using my paint. Right from the fluid acrylics, the way they are, works perfect. So I want to take a little bit of ultramarine blue, touch of phthalo blue, and let's just start right up here. And take a little bit of white to that. And I'm going to work my way down till I run out of paint. I'm also going to paint the side. And you can make this as blended or as rough as you want. I actually should have used a smaller brush because I want more brush strokes in that. I'm going to take a little bit more ultramarine blue. A speck of phthalo blue. With the back stapled canvases, you don't have to frame them. They can go up on the wall just the way they are. Okay, quickly rinse my brush. I'm going to put that aside. I'm going to get the smaller brush. I'm going to do a little bit of phthalo green in there with a lot of white. And you can choose whatever you want for this. You don't have to be that specific. You know what, I'm going to knock that down a bit with a bit of red. There we go. And I like that, those lines there. Red is the opposite of green, and it knocks it down quite nicely. A little bit of Quinacridone violet is nice, so it doesn't get so muddy. And I could have made my green using phthalo greens faster. Now, a lot of this stuff is going to be covered, so that's why I'm not too worried about getting the perfect coverage. The sign's going to be here, so let's bring some of that up. That little note. Let's see, you're going to have, and the bird's going to be there. The doily's going to be here. And there's a cute little thing I'm going to be doing. I want to make sure I have. I'm using the brush now on its side. And I can even do some on the side here. I love using these types of canvases because just they're instantly hangable. There we go. And water, and wipe my hands. And while this is drying, I'm taking a chance doing this now because Joe says, let it dry. Don't keep working on other stuff. Where's my crazy bird? Where's my crazy bird? And I'm going to take my little number 8 shader. And let's see. A little bit of Diarylide yellow. Oh, I never told you guys. Well, if you've been watching the videos, you should know what I'm doing here. It's a poor man's palette. Not really a poor man's palette, because I've been doing my palette this way. I don't like using glass on camera. And I'm not liking so much the unstick matte as the palette because the colors aren't true. So that's why I like using a gray palette instead, which I don't have handy. Okay, so I took Diarylide yellow, a little bit of Napthol red light, and I'm just going to paint the whole thing. Because those colors are transparent. Ah, shoot, not the eye. Because the colors are transparent, it doesn't cover the black. I painted over his eyeball. Okay, you know how we fix that? Grab another cutout. But I love this bird. Oh my God. Okay, little bit of titanium white. Voila. Should have made him pink, that way he would look like he had bloodshot eyes. Beauty. Actually, if I wanted to really do this, take a little bit of that blue, go in between his legs, because the sky is not yellow. This is me being just too lazy to cut the thing out. There we go. Oh, what, I knocked your beak. I'm sorry. Okay. Put him aside. Oh, the doily. Yeah, I have to move pretty fast. You know why? Because Joe took me out for a walk so I could do my video. He said, you've got 15 minutes. Let's see with this. Okay, chromatic black. I don't like using black out of the tube, so usually I make it with ultramarine blue, burnt sienna. I'm gonna try, well, I know it's gonna work, phthalo green and quinacridone violet. And what happens if we can't see the dark color? We want to see the true underlying color. Add white to it. So that's what you see as a true underlying color. Nice color. And I'm going to put a little bit of red in there, a bit more green. There we go. So I add a little bit of the Napthol red to the mix as well. I'm going to take more of the Quinacridone violet. Really, on white, chromatic black really is just dark paint put together. I could have used pure phthalo blue. I could have used, well, mind you, on white because it's transparent. And I like how that's showing through. It, I'll get a bit of water. It just all depends how you want the colors to appear. I'm not going to cover that whole thing up. I like that the way that is. And you gotta dry. All right. Little flowers. Little flowers. I think the little flowers, I'm just going to do a Diarylide yellow. I was going to paint them blue, but they're going to get lost. Here's my little brush. And I would have loved to have used the DecoArt Media misters. But I've got so much stuff on the table right now, and they make a terrible mess. I just added some water to this. Oh, I hear the dogs, the weenie dogs outside, so Mia must be walking by. Good timing. Now on this one here, I'm going to take a little bit of the red to the Diarylide yellow. With some water. And I'm just going to overlap those. Almost like a tie-dye. Like that. And let that dry. You're going to hear thumping coming up the stairs. It'll be Mia. And, oh, guess what? We have to let everything dry now before we start doing our crackling. Okay. Drying time for this, about a half an hour. So I'm going to go welcome my hubbub and my Mia, and I'll come back. Oh, somebody's not happy. It's 37 outside with the humidity. Alright, so got this now. It is going to curl, so I'm going to take the DecoArt Media Crackle Glaze. Now, if you don't have Crackle Glaze, you can use the DecoArt One-Step Crackle. Where's my I think I'm missing a brush. I'm missing a brush. So what I want to do, I'm only going to glaze just the I guess the 3/4 of it. Not going to do anything here. And you'll see why when I put it together. This will take a little bit of time to dry, especially with this humidity. So I'm doing all the thick stuff now, and it'll dry overnight. Because I do not think this stuff is going to be dry in a few hours. Oh, Miss Mia. Oh, she's so hot. Did you hear her sigh? I'll put that over there. What I'll do is I'll end up putting this stuff on my drying rack. Okay, put that aside. Mia! Let's stencil this. So I've got this little stencil called Loopy. This is their mixed media stencil, but I want to do it this way. And this is where I wanted to take the liquid glass and squeeze it and just make all these little marks, but I just can't. I just can't. And no fault of DecoArt, it's just me with my arthritis. So I'm going to put this on the, just somewhere on the bottom there. And take these. This is from the Application and Texture Tool kit. And let's see, what's the best way to do this? Let's go this way. Just slightly. Okay, I'm just going to put a bead. And I'm going to put that up. When DecoArt had a texture gel product, and then they discontinued it, I cried. Oh, I was so upset because I used that in so much of my art. And then when they brought this one up, this one made me happy. I'm putting some parts thick, some parts thin. Making sure I go to the very top on the outside edge. So if you have it go on an angle, turning it, if you have it on an angle going this way, then your eyes are going to lead off. I want it higher, and then it's almost like a U. Look at that. So, I don't know why I used the wrong hand for everything. Buzzer, buzzer. Okay, so I'm going to put this here. Another baby wipe right on top so that stuff does not dry on the stencil. And if you have a Tupperware container or a plastic container, fill it with water, throw your stencil in there. That way you'll be set. Mia's laying in that spot. Don't you start barking. Aw, look. Got paint in there. She's blowfishing her face. Making these all uneven. Oh, I hear the kiddos outside again. Like that. Okay. Put that aside. Mr. Angry Bird. You know what I could have done? I could have used the excess. Oh, it's too late now. It's watered down. I could have used the excess on Mr. Bird here. This is the high gloss. I know I should just get a clean brush. Yeah, I'm going to get a clean brush. Actually, I'm just going to use a little round brush. And I'm just putting this high gloss on the birdie, because it'll create some contrast when he's on top of the doily where it's not glossy, where there's no crackle, because the butterfly is going to be on top of that. Excuse me. Just evening everything out. And put that right over there. Done. All right, so now everything's going to have to dry. Again, like I said, I'm probably going to leave it overnight. And really, once this is done now, let me think. Everything just gets collaged onto the canvas. So for collaging, I've got the matte medium that I'm going to be using for that. But you know what? I don't know if the matte medium is going to, how it's going to adhere with this, because the way that this is stenciled on, it's going to be dimensional like that. It's not going to flatten out at all, which is so great. So I've got my glue gun, my Ryobi glue gun on the side, just in case I need to use that to collage stuff together. But I'll try it out and see what happens, and then we'll go from there. Alrighty, so I will see you guys tomorrow. Alright, so it's had plenty of time to dry overnight. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? That's gorgeous. Everything else is dried. Now this one here, the Crackles, it's not too bad because it's going to be flat, but if you're going to use this Crackle glaze on something that's very flexible, I might want to give it a bit of a varnish. So glossy part on the outside. I'm going to do a dry fit. Put that right to the edge. And that's what I'm looking at. Something like that. That's what I'm looking at. So, take the matte medium. Excuse me. And I'm going to stick with the the half-inch brush. And basically just going to collage everything together. Nothing fancy schmancy here. Oh, and get my tweezers. This was the one I was fussing with the most. And I'm applying the matte medium on quite thickly. So I want to add some dimension. And I changed my mind about using a glue gun because of the amount of the gloss, the gel medium, because it's, you think of it like basically plastic based. That's what acrylics are. I didn't want to melt it with the amount of glue, hot glue, because the glue gun that I have is only one temperature, which is super hot. And so put that down, and I'll curl those after. I'm just going to make sure that that doesn't stick down at the bottom. There we go. So I'm just going to continue on and just put everything together. And there's nothing fancy about this, so I'm just going to do the rest off camera. But if I do encounter a mistake, or if I screw up somehow, I'll come back on camera to show you what the mistake was and what I did to fix it. Now the other thing too, because I'm putting the matte medium on this, it's just going to change the finish of this stuff here. You can varnish it at the end with a gloss varnish, which is probably what I'm going to end up doing. And it's a good thing I didn't turn the camera off already. Mistake. Just off, not quite centered. That's the problem when you're using stuff that's really straight. You got to make sure it's nice and centered. Yeah, so you can use whatever glue you want, but I am gonna just varnish with the high gloss varnish because I'm not quite sure where this is going to end up. Always best to prepare for the worst case scenario. All right, so I'm just going to keep putting everything together. How cute is that? That's so pretty. So the matte medium, you can see that it did take away a little bit of the shine up here. There wasn't any matte medium. The crackling, you can't see too much about it, but there's some nice texture. So what I want to do now, always assuming I don't know where it's going to be placed, I'm going to put on some high gloss. Again, I want to use a triple thick. The other thing you can do, let's see, before putting on the flowers, the flowers, the butterfly, maybe this flower. You can also pour some resin on top, which is quite nice as well. And I'm going to use my favorite Majestic 1-inch oval wash brush. I use this for varnishing. And just going to give it a light coat. This will bring the gloss back. And I'm putting just a little bit on my table because you know who is sitting in the window. And I'm being very careful where I place it. You can also pre-varnish your pieces if you want. And then just glue them on. This one's nice and stiff. It's just more to seal everything in. If you don't have varnish, you can use decoupage medium as well. And that's about it. So I'm going to let this dry for a bit. And then one thing is that what I haven't been doing was showing, basically I haven't been doing varnishing on camera because it's so hard for photography. So what I'll do, I'll have to get Joe's help, is I'll get some, I'll just get some pictures in natural light to show you. Because on camera, the overhead lights, I don't want to move those lights because they're set up for video. But basically, there we go. So that's ideally what's going to look like. You can see that these nice little lines are back. Everything is now nice and sealed. So if this happened to have gone into, oh, let's say a powder room or a kitchen or something, or I don't know, anywhere. If it was a dry environment where they had humidifiers, it would be protected. I would also probably varnish the back here, but it's all set now. All right, so I'm going to put this in water. And then we come back, I'll just show you what it looks like dried. So it's all finished. You can see how beautifully shiny it is. And if you don't like the shine, then use a, more of a matte semi-gloss finish, but it's completely up to you. I really hope that you enjoyed this project and give it a try. I would love to see a picture of what you create. So feel free to share it with me. You can contact me at artplace.ca and then we can privately exchange our email addresses. And you can also share it in the private Facebook group. Link to that is at my website as well. But I would love to hear what you think. So comment below what you thought of the video. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video. And then don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of the content that I'm putting out. Alrighty, so I'm going to clean up and get ready for my next project. So until I see you in the next video, stay inspired.